session. Thanks, Anish. Yeah. Tell me.
Hi, doctor. How are you?
Hi, how are you?
Good.
How's it going?
Thank God it's getting over now, doctor. It's 6 months. It's going to complete soon.
I can hear. We're very good. This system is working better, right? Hey, parenting is never over.
No, but at least the breastfeeding part, doctor, while I'm listening to everyone.
But you did it this time. This time you fed your baby. So
I did.
Yes. Am I right? You were not sure about that.
Yeah, but still.
Why are you giving up? Continue breastfeeding, right?
Yeah, doctor.
2 years. Listen, Daja, in this corona season, there is some going to them to the breast milk. Give him top up. Give him give breast milk also.
Yeah, but doctor, I think one of the key questions what you've answered for me in today's session is getting back to our workouts, which I started immediately post 3 months. Yeah.
Wonderful.
I think that is one of the key things what you've answered. And the other thing what I wanted to ask is, now should we continue with any tablets, any calcium things? Or
I'm coming to that point. Yeah. So I thought I would finish workouts, and then we started talking about the breastfeeding part of it. So I just let the flow of the talk go on, wherever we're going, right? So breastfeed, all of you. 6 months is exclusive breastfeeding and fit and nice. This is what does to you when you start your workout. You start looking fit. You don't look heavy, you don't look heavy. Your skin, you feel more energetic. Am I right? You feel more energetic. Yeah. So all of you get back. And 6 months, after 6 months, continue breastfeeding along with solids. The baby will go on solids, but they will come back to the breast. The frequency will reduce. It is infrequent breastfeeding, but that will continue. And the recommendation is 2 years. Keep breastfeeding. Yes. Even if you're going to work, morning you feed and go, come back in the evening and feed and go, come back in the evening. Afternoon you want to express some milk. The 2 years you feed, right? Don't stop it abruptly. Background sound you have. See, very often the baby gives up themselves. They stop it themselves. Some babies after 1.5 years or 2 years, they just stop off the breastfeed, So that is going to happen anyway. So we will not stop it from our end, Who are we to decide how it's done, it's over? Am I right? So that is the recommendation. Right? Do the workout.
Ma'am,
maybe. Yeah, go ahead.
Ma'am, the medication that we are taking.
Yeah.
So we said calcium to be continued until breastfeeding. So if we are continuing up to 2 years, we still need to take the supplements?
I'll tell you why. So the medication itself, someone has asked for the medication. We recommended iron if you were taking iron only for 2 months from the time you delivered a baby.
Right.
So we said after 2 months you don't need iron. That iron would have made up for whatever loss you had with them. But calcium, we want you to continue calcium till you breastfeed your baby. Why? The reason is a lot of calcium goes through the breast milk to the baby. Okay?
Right.
So this calcium is coming from, you have enough stores of calcium, dietary calcium here. Now suppose the body will take care. It will take all sorts of calcium and will give it to the baby. Priority is a baby. Suppose you're lacking calcium, then some of your bone calcium is taken out. It takes away calcium from the bones. Up to the age of 35, mark my words, only up to the age of 35 you can deposit calcium in the bones.
Okay.
After 35 years, it's only withdrawal. Okay. Now, when I am less than 35, I need to build my basic bone structure.
Right.
It's a good asset for rest of my life, right? So why do you want to lose an asset? You don't want to lose an asset, right? So why do you want to lose it? So take your calcium. You got my point. So take your calcium till you're breastfeeding your baby. You're done.
Ma'am, for myself, what you've advised me is Calcimax 500 thrice a day. So now being occupied with the baby, a lot of times I skip my doses. So is there something that I can take in a single dose?
Yeah, so very good. So the idea is, I'll put it as 3 doses. I know you will be missing it. Doesn't matter. Still, if you're taking it like 3 tablets a day, still your replacement is done. So don't worry.
Okay, now I was trying to figure if there is some tablet with a higher dosage that can be taken once a day.
There's no.
No?
You may
Okay.
not be able to withstand so much of calcium. I just made you all 500 because I didn't want so much vitamin D to continue to go in. So I made it simple 500 calcium. So what you could do is take 1 in the morning, 2 at bedtime together. So it makes it
Okay.
quite simple.
And
I
ma'am,
also end
vitamin
up
D, do we
forgetting.
need to take, ma'am? Vitamin D supplement, do we need to
Not
take?
required. I think you have taken enough during the pregnancy, or you're not fallen short of it. I don't think you need to take it. We'll see
Okay.
a year later. If a year later you feel there's a deficiency, then we get it corrected.
Okay, ma'am. And ma'am, like you just mentioned now, you know, the above the age of 35, like, you know, you cannot deposit calcium. So is there no point taking supplements after that?
You don't need it. See, workouts, when you do workouts, what is the advantage of your workouts, When you're stretching your muscles that are attached to the bones, there is something called as an osteoblastic activity. You deposit bone, you don't lose calcium. That's the advantage of being physically active. So when you're physically active, you don't lose calcium so easily from a person who's just not physically active.
So if I'm feeding, breastfeeding after the age of 35, do I need to discontinue my calcium or still continue it?
No, that is not age. See, I give an example of age of
Right.
So,
Right.
So when you're breastfeeding, you take your calcium, and once your breastfeeding is stopped, you don't have to dump calcium. You have then you sort of get back to your normal life and things like that. You
Right.
want to lose your bone calcium when you're breastfeeding your baby. See, our grandmothers and all, they say, "Oh, we didn't take any medication. We just went on, and we're so
True.
hale and hearty." But if you see their bones, how many grandmas' bones are so fragile, paper thin bones. They have a fall. Crack, the hip is gone. So many have hip bone fractures. So they can, but now they hardly have any bone density in their bones. So that is also not a good situation, isn't it? And they produce so many children. Imagine
Right.
every child, they lost so much of calcium. What is left in their bones?
True.
So we need to, such physical activity is very good way of retaining the calcium.
Thank you, ma'am.
Any other question in medication? With the medication part of it, I again reiterate that those who are taking thyroxine, medicine for thyroid during your pregnancy, we have halved it after the delivery, right? We say made half of the delivery. So this probably we have to recheck. 6 weeks later, you're supposed to do a TSH. Okay. Now, many of you might be within the 6 weeks range, or many must cross the 6 week range. So must be a 3 months range. So if you have not done your TSH, please do your serum TSH values, and we see where we stand, and then we decide whether we need to continue the thyroxine for you or we need to stop the thyroxine. Okay, and that you can get back to us. You understood those who are taking medication for thyroid. Those who are taking medicines for diabetes in pregnancy, that means you are not diabetic and you became diabetic during the pregnancy, and we have stopped the diabetic medicine, isn't it? The metformin has been stopped for you. Once your baby is born, there's no more a diabetic tendency. In that case, we just recheck your sugar levels. At the end of 3 months, we do the OGTT, oral glucose tolerance test. We do at the end of 6 months, oral glucose tolerance test. At the end of 1 year, we do it again. So we keep a check on the sugar levels. That we'll have to do it. So those who had diabetes in pregnancy, we just write back to us. We will give you advice for the sugar level. And these are those who had this tendency in pregnancy. Please remember, you can become a potential. You are having the potential to be a diabetic later in life. It may pop up in your late 30s, may pop up in the 40s. So you have to be extremely careful with what you do. You have to treat yourself as a diabetic. Okay? That is very important. Blood pressure medicines also we're taking. Most of you, we have stopped the medicines for you, but you might want to just check your blood pressure once, just to find out whether you are having what is called as a chronic hypertension. That means I developed hypertension during pregnancy, but then I have become a hypertensive later on. You have to check your blood pressure. So these are the 3 conditions of pregnancy where, if suppose in this COVID times, because of a lack of follow-up, you have not followed your levels, so we can do your thyroid levels, never too late, and do your sugar levels if you had diabetes pregnancy, and you just check your blood pressure if required, and you get back to us. Okay?
So what should be the ideal blood pressure reading?
Your normal blood pressure, like 120/80, 127,
120 by 80.
100/70, 100, all of those readings, 90/70,
Okay.
100/70, they're all normal readings. Nothing is low.
Okay.
Ma'am, coming to sugar, I mean, not diabetes, but sugar per se, ma'am, during pregnancy, I had kind of, developed a tendency to like sweets, which I did not have earlier. And I realized my sweet tooth is continuing. I still crave, something sweet almost every day. So is there anything to be worried about, anything to be tested, or let it just be?
No, your body is asking for it. Please give it the body that much. Give the body. I won't say don't give the body, but give it in moderation. You got my point?
Right, absolutely.
That is what we have to do. We have to eat.
So like a small piece,
The soap
chocolate or sweet is okay to have every day.
and get some homemade dessert also.
Right.
A lot of protein based, and we have a little bit of those days at home every day.
Right.
So please, I don't mind eating a sinful food also. You should listen that. You should do the sinful activity once in a while.
Right.
Everything is done in moderation.
Doctor, is it common? Is it common to like I keep forgetting a lot of things nowadays? So is it very common to?
No, right. But so overwhelmed with what is happening to you. Your day is fully occupied. That is why you're little. I think time for yourself will help you. This taking care of the baby can be overwhelming. It is so demanding. It's so demanding. So give yourself some time. Nothing has gone wrong. This is as fine as ever. Okay.
Ma'am,
Yeah.
anything in diet that can help reduce the colic problem? Any dietary thing?
Yeah, these babies get colicky. Babies getting colicky is absolutely normal. It starts by late evening, like around 7 o'clock it starts. Sometimes it starts a little later in the night. You don't know what is happening to them. It's a part of the baby's growth. It's basically the spasm of the little muscles which are not allowing the gas to come out. They are uncomfortable. Nothing regarding your diet. Nothing went wrong in your breast milk. Nothing went wrong with what you ate. That's what the baby became colicky.
Okay, ma'am.
And what really helps is if the mother can relax, the arms that is holding the baby, if that arm can relax, it helps the baby a lot.
Okay.
That is why they say swaying the baby, dancing with the baby, put in some music. Really helps them. Calling the best is to take them for a drive. That moment, that swaying movement, some kind of a movement, they just go off to sleep. So don't have to worry. And colic is something so common. It takes it takes a longer time if the anxiety is more. Otherwise, it passes off on its own. So don't have to worry. You have nothing to worry.
Ma'am, is there an effect of caffeine on, if you consume caffeine, does it pass through the breast milk and affect the child's sleep pattern or anything? A little bit, I mean, of course, not excessive.
So not so much. The for the child to be affected, your caffeine levels should shoot up a lot, right? And you're having I don't think that shoot up your levels, then get transferred to breast milk. It shouldn't matter.
So like 1 cup of tea in the morning and a little bit of coffee in the evening is okay to have.
You're important, beta. Please tell I'm important. I want to have it. Yeah, that's it. Okay. I told you all in life cannot be breast milk, breast milk, breast milk.
Right.
Just take care of my.
And ma'am, same thing with anything cold, like say for example an ice cream or curds or anything of that sort.
Nothing. Please trust me. Nothing is going to go to the baby. The baby is still going to sneeze. The baby is still going to get colicky. They're still going to be. That's by changing your diet. You're only confused. You're so confused to the extent of getting frustrated. You don't know what is happening. And
absolutely, been there.
Everybody around you, please trust me. I didn't do anything wrong. I just fed my baby. So
absolutely.
Don't get into the theory. that is not going to make you feel good. You eat what you're eating. As I tell you all in the class, I pass gas, my baby does. We pass gas together. You know, that I fart, you fart, we fart together. That's it.
Right.
So fixated. You'll be very frustrated.
So I have a question about nursing. All these galactagogues that we were initially given by the hospital, sometimes for myself, I feel that my supply really goes low. Do I need to take it, or is it just like a biology thing? It's just supply and demand.
It's a very good question. I've also wondered, you know. You see, there are a few galactagogues in allopathic, in our school of medicine, you know. We don't have any specific galactagogues. Whereas the Ayurvedic people seem to be having something to stimulate the breast milk. That is why we have this Tatavari, we have this Lactate. They're all having this Ayurvedic products. So in allopathy, we don't have it. We have only medicine, like Perinorm or something to increase your prolactin levels and make them milk. So these seem to be working. So I won't know how they are working, number one. And I use them, not that it's been standardly used by all the doctors for some, but I use it for a very short time, only in certain cases, because I don't want to whip the breast also to make too much of milk. So I think once you have at the age of 4 months, you don't even have to worry about these galactagogues helping to make you more milk. Then,
so sometimes I really feel that my supply has really gone low, and my daughter would just be like, she just comes off the nipple. I don't know if it's distraction or if it's low milk supply, because those are the days when she's extremely irritated. And I am also unable to pump a lot of milk. Like I pump once a day.
yeah.
So
I think there's no harm. Suppose I've taken these galactagogues like Lactate tablets, Sotavani powder, and it helped me, and I stopped it. And now I feel like you can always take it in patch. I restart it, take it for some time, feel comfortable, then you can stop it. And then you can do that back and forth. It's not like a course of medicines that once started means I cannot stop it. Nothing's going on. So when you feel that, you can take it. I think it also helps your psyche also feel better. You believe in that so much.
Yeah, it's more of a placebo, I feel at times.
And the way it's told to you, you take it, you'll have it, this is for your milk to come. And then it really helps others, So whatever way it's helping you, please go ahead.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
And doctor, is it okay to have cheese and processed food?
I told you can do sins, definitely. Be sinful, do sinful food sometime, no problem. But it depends on each body, how much protein your body can take, how much cheese you can take. If you're taking it regularly, you can take it. But then cheese goes with bread all the time, right? And the bread is not the good thing.
So bread is not good, is it?
Bread is a very bad food. We can all avoid breads. It's such a handy food. It's a tasty food. It's a convenient food. It's very nice. Just take bread. The bread it's a bad carbs. Maida, right? It's a bad carbs. So then if you're having a cheese, have it with a pasta, make a or a bowl of vegetables. You can do any kind of a baked item, it will be good. But as such, reduce bread. I think we all should reduce.
So do we need to go not have a lot of dairy and protein?
The basic crux of dieting is we don't have to reduce we have to reduce your carbs. Okay? As an Indian, if you see our evolution, there was a time in the history of evolution where we have withstood starvation a lot of time. We were very thrifty genes. Our genes has withstood starvation. Now what is happening when we are getting plenty, it's a double trouble to us. We're not able to cope up with that. That is why we have obesity, we have high incidence of diabetes and everything going around for us. So we know that my body is designed for starvation. It was once upon a time designed for starvation. So I have to reduce the carbs in my diet. And then our Indian food is so much in carbs. Eat traditional carbs. If you are a South Indian, take your rice, take your idli, take your dosa, no problem. But we have changed our diet so much. The so-called Maida products was never a part of a traditional food. If you ask your mother, ask grandmother, say Maida, used to buy maybe Diwali time, thoda mithai banane ke liye. They never stocked maida in the house, and they never stocked biscuits in the house. They made everything at home. All the fasans they made at home, or rice or chana basin, all was made at home. Now we have changed. We have gone. I can't think of a day from morning to night where this product does not come into your system. It can come in the form of bread, it can come in the form of biscuits, it can come of cookies, it can come of cakes, it comes of anything, everything. It's there almost whole day and night. Got it, point. So you have to filter, you have to reduce it, so your children don't get used to it. See, basically children learn from us, what we eat, the children learn. So if you take a firm decision that I'm going to reduce my bakery products, my maida products, that's one thing you can reduce. The rice and wheat, I'm going to eat proportionally based on where I come from. North Indians like chapati, South Indians like rice. That's also just that much that my body is asking for. And that's why I always say, when you serve food to yourself, serve the other portions first, the dal portion, the protein portion first, the vegetable portion second, then the salads, the dahi. The bachawa jagah, the balanced place on the plate will have your rice, such a much. When you serve that last, then you know exactly how much you take. So you don't take that first and serve the other things. This is an easy way of eating healthy. And so that is cut down. And your dairy products, yes. Milk is, we're not talking great things about milk, drinking milk. You can, I'm not asking everybody to become a vegan or something, but you can go more on curds and buttermilk than milk. You got my point. So these are the few things. You can reduce the amount of milk you're taking. Take a milk product like curds, buttermilk, paneer made in the house, not paneer bought from outside, and reduce the moderation of your carbs in terms of rice and wheat, and reduce your maida products. I think this will take, and sugars, of course. It's sugars, refined sugars. And you can replace it by taking some jaggery or some brown sugars that you can do. So this is take care of the basic principles of diet.
So like the pediatrician told me to go low on animal protein as well as dairy. She said don't take more than 250 ml of milk a day.
Exactly. We want you to reduce your milk products. All, for every one of us, right from your children, your teenage girls to adolescent adults, we don't want too much milk.
So then this would include all the dairy group, right? No paneer and dahi and buttermilk.
No, I say buttermilk and curds are okay. I'm not, if you're not taking milk at all, then it becomes a vegan, right? You completely stop it. I think milk as well. Milk that is broken off and you're getting the protein part. The curd has got lactobacillus. It's a probiotic.
Right.
So curds or buttermilk form one group. And paneer is also protein. So that you can take.
Thank you.
Made in the house, not bought outside. There's a lot of uric acid in the paneer bought outside. They put a lot of acid to make the milk. Right?
Hello. Ma'am, are we going topic wise, or can I take an off topic question?
I'm not.
Yeah.
So let me see where we said. We all about breast milk. We went to medication. Anything about medications that you want to ask? I want to comment at that point. Anything about the medicine?
Hello. Yeah. Hi, doctor. This is Preeti here.
Tell me, Preeti.
Yeah. Hi, ma'am. How are you?
I am fine. I'm very, very fine. Yeah, tell me. Thanks, Antenatal.
Ma'am, I have two questions.
Yeah.
One is regarding, as you know, in 2.5 months, I got some pus in my stitches. So now it all got discharged, but I have some pain in that area. So I majorly stopped some of the exercise like pranayam and all those things. So can I start back or?
Please start. Preeti. Don't worry. Please start back.
And what you will suggest the exercise for the fat in for seat fat and all those thighs fats?
See,
Majorly, I don't understand what to do for that because I have good fats there.
Patient. I have few requests. Again, I'm saying be patient when you're doing your workouts. Do for the whole body fitness and feel good factor. Slowly increase your level of activity, and then don't stand in the balance at all. Don't keep standing on the balance. I did 1 week of activity. Let me see what you're not going to show results at all. So that will be very, very disappointing. So don't stand on the balance to find out your weight. Be at it. Be consistent. It will all go away. And eat healthy. I see no reason. I'm eating healthy. I'm burning on what I'm eating. I'm doing my regular activity. I don't see any reason why you should not do it. Okay? And no quick results. No
Okay,
quick
man. And this pain is okay, no?
pain is
This
okay.
pain is normal?
Not normal. This is stretching. I'm stretching. Hey, I saw you wearing nice nail polish.
Okay, thank you so much.
You were wearing a nice nail polish. You went on some party time, some social call, something, some event. Preeti?
No, ma'am, no, not. Now I'm in home only.
Okay. That's beautified, is it? So only nail polish.
Thank you.
How old is your child? How old is your child?
3.5 months, ma'am.
So no allergies. Sometimes when you're little babies, when you have nail polish chemicals, right? And then you go on. So that's the time I say no nail polish.
Okay, okay.
Now it's okay. So
First pregnancy was, I find that was very smooth. Now this time, like after this pus and all, I was very scared. But now things are slowly moving good.
You are in fear. What had happened was long time back. You're still not forgotten it. You're just keeping alive. Oh, I had the discharge. It's all over long time back. But still that is kept alive. Forget it. It's over. It's nothing was what was given to you. Nothing much was given to you, right? It just dissolved by itself. Was anything given to you? Any antibiotics given to you? Nothing was given. So it was only
Nothing.
It's not a pus. When there's a fat there where you cut, the fat starts melting. When it starts melting under the scar, this molten fat comes out. It's like a discharge. And then it's good for the body, it's thrown it out. That's all has happened. It's so, if you're fixated about it, you're getting scared, we are losing on all that we could have done in 3.5 months. You got me time. So people have a pad of fat in the legs, and that is a discharge, serious discharge. So don't worry about that.
Okay,
Ma'am,
thank you, ma'am.
Jaya here, I have a question.
Yeah.
So ma'am, my stitches heal very well. Everything is okay and I don't really have any pain or anything. But sometimes when I'm in a little reclined position, maybe halfway lying on my bed and I try to wake up, then I feel a little pain.
Stretch. What's happening is this abdominal wall is getting stretched. So I feel a little discomfort.
That's all right. Nothing to worry.
No.
And ma'am, I have started experiencing numbness in one heel, like right heel of my foot has become kind of numb. And when I put my foot down, I feel like I'm stepping on something.
Circulation is altered circulation. So what happens is when you're sitting in a posture, that circulation in that peripheral, that limb slows down. That gives you numbness. And then when you start walking, you start feeling better. Then the circulation resets. So this is settled on its own. It's not because of any deficiency. And I think when you start doing a regular exercise, you start feeling better.
Okay.
If we don't feel better, inform us. Then we give some B12. We give some extra B12. Otherwise, we will not give it.
Okay, ma'am.
Doctor, sometimes I feel there's something, a ball kind of thing moving inside the stomach. Is it very normal?
How many weeks since you've delivered?
It's been 2 months now.
There's nothing ball-like. It's nothing. Nothing. Some baby left behind, maybe. This feeling is there after you deliver, right? When the uterus is bulky, you feel something is moving,
Yeah.
And when your bowels are moving, very often they have a feeling. Maybe they overlooked. There was something more inside. They left it behind and came. It's same way that you must have felt it immediately after you delivered your baby. Don't worry. Anything else? Okay. Now I'm going to the next thing is your contraception. Remember, you can get pregnant again. One pregnancy always makes you susceptible to another pregnancy, right? You might have taken a long time to have this baby, but you can have the next baby immediately. So contraception is extremely important. We don't want to get into a messy situation of an unwanted pregnancy and decide, oh, I can't handle that pregnancy, and decide how to terminate that pregnancy. So So then you're going to be in a messy situation, because when we give terminations, we say medical termination. Some of the medicines that we recommend for a medical termination, when you say medical termination is you take medicines and you abort the baby yourself. And some of the medicines, going through the breast milk, still we don't have valid proof it affects or does not affect. So then we have to go for, then we recommend, oh, you're breastfeeding your baby, then these medications, we don't have validation about the safety. So what do? We need the option to do. Then you decide on a surgical termination. Then you have to go, why all this? All this because I got pregnant and maybe I did not take the precaution. So better to avoid that messy situation. You need to protect yourself from a pregnancy. So how are you going to protect yourself from a pregnancy? So one thing we recommend is while you're exclusing breastfeeding, that is the first 6 months, when you're giving only breast milk and breast milk. Nature is almost giving you 100% protection. I'm saying almost 100% protection because we have had occasional mothers who have got pregnant at that phase also. It gives you a decent protection. It's a reward that's given to you to say, wow, you're breastfeeding your baby, so let me see so that you don't get pregnant. So that time you don't get your periods, you don't start menstruating, your eggs are not released, so you're getting a natural protection. A simple condom should take care of it. And this condom is a barrier. You should use it every time you're sexually active. There's nothing like a safe period, not a safe period, nothing like that. Whenever you're physically active, when you have sexually active, then you have to use a condom. A simple barrier with the breastfeeding. That means I'm having a natural protection of breastfeeding and my condoms safe enough for me till the first 6 months. Okay. After 6 months, you are starting solids for the baby. Am I right? That's why we discussed. We're going to give top feed to the baby. Then it's no more exclusive breastfeeding. When it's no more exclusive breastfeeding, then you're exposed to a pregnancy. Then we have to decide what are the options open to me. So we tell you the options are open is anyone can use a condom. They can continue condoms itself. They're comfortable with it. They're careful. They have stocks of condoms. This is very, very important. It just, most of you come and say, ma'am, only one act we just missed. That's the time the things happen. You might have had used a condom for months together, but one act of unprotected sex, you're caught. So stock your condoms and see if you're comfortable with that. Use it at all times. You can continue. Or we can put in what is called as the intrauterine devices. These are called as copper devices. They have a layer of copper wound around the device. We place it inside the uterus. They're commonly known as copper T device. So you must have heard it's copper T. We place it inside the uterus. And when you place this device inside the uterus, there's a copper around the device. And that initiates an anti-copper reaction in the inner cavity of the uterus. So basically, your body is creating a foreign body reaction. It says, okay, somebody else is coming to the uterus. I need to react against the copper. So in this zone of anti-copper reactions, when the sperms go in, they get killed. They cannot withstand it. So that gives you a contraceptive protection. Fair enough. The protection is almost to the order. A condom may give you a protection of 88%. A copper T device will give you a protection of 98.4% protection. Right? So a device can be placed in, we have a 3-year device, we have a 5-year device, depending upon the amount of copper that goes into the device. So you can have it for 3 years or 5 years. You can choose to have it. For which I always wait for a menstruation to come. So I wait, we tell them we want to shift to the condoms. Okay, shift to the copper T. We say, let's continue the condoms, wait for the menstruation to come. Post-menstruation, I can put the device for you. So that is one choice you have. Then we have hormonal contraception. That means I take hormones. Now, what are the hormones? Again, the breastfeeding comes into the picture. So I can take certain hormonal tablets, which is not going to affect my breastfeeding. I avoid the conventional oral contraceptive pills, which can reduce my breastfeeding. So we choose agents called only progesterone agents. That means if I take only progesterone agents, my breastfeed is not affected. If I take a combination pill, that means estrogen and progesterone, my breast milk can go down. So in the only progesterone variety, we have tablets. You can take these tablets every day, one tablet, a strip of 28 tablets. You can take it continuously back to back for 6 months. but we don't recommend it beyond 6 months. So for those 6 months, you can take these pills and get a protection against a pregnancy and still breastfeed your baby. There's another device, progesterone device, available in form of injections. That is, I take a shot of this injection. I have to repeat these injections every 3 months. It's a Depo-Provera injection. So I take every 3 months, and then it is a loading dose of progesterone put in your body into that fat area. Slowly keeps on getting absorbed, gives you a protection, gives you 100% protection, no problem. Occasional spotting with all these progesterone devices, we have occasional spotting is a little irritating thing sometimes. It may not be period, it may be irregular spotting initially, and then you may break into regular periods. Then another third progesterone device you have is a kind of an intrauterine device. And this, I have a device, I place it inside the uterus, like the copper T device, but instead of the copper, there is this progesterone medicine in that tube that's available. It's available in so many names. For Mirena, it's available. So I put this device inside the uterus. It is not a copper device. It's not a foreign body reaction. So in this device, what happens is there is a progesterone which is constantly released in the cavity of my uterus, and that alters my lining. It does not allow my lining to grow. So pregnancy cannot come and get implanted there. So I get a protection. So hormonal protection is 100% protection. Mostly is progesterone, either progesterone tablets or injections or intrauterine devices like Mirena. Then so we have 3 groups. We have condom. So condom can be used at all times, and it gives you only 88% protection. Failure with condoms is because of failure to use the condoms than the condom itself. So suppose a condom splits. I use the condom, it split. Then we can think of either giving you a protection against a pill which is reasonably safe, which doesn't affect your breastfeeding. We give you emergency contraception pills within 24 hours of that unprotected sex that you had or the condom mishap that you had. So we can combine. Then you put a copper T device on hormone. This is...
Ma'am, I have a question. These copper devices, ma'am, it is a non-invasive procedure,
Yeah,
is it?
It's done in the procedure. When it comes like a checkup, it's like a normal checkup, right? So this decision, what we use, none of this you need to be hospitalized. All facilities are available in the clinic. The decision that you and your husband has to take is what you want to choose. That is a very, very important. Don't push this contraception topic aside. In the process of talking everything about your what is called as your diet, your weight, your blah blah blah. There's so many other things that we discuss. You overlook this very important aspect of contraception. So,
and ma'am, if we are using this copper contraception, is it also advised along with it to use physical contraception?
Sorry, somebody is keeping on calling me.
Sure.
Hello. So the contract. So when you put a copper device, all the instructions will be given to you. I'm not getting into the individual detailing of the instructions. So we ask you to use a condom also for a month at least, because by the time I put the device, oh my god. Hello. Hey, I'm in a class. Can you call me after an hour if you don't mind? Okay. I was also done with class and over 20 phone. Okay. So what we have to do is 1 month till that anti-copper zones get set in, you have to use condoms. After that, you don't have to use condoms. Okay. So that is one thing, right? So, and then only a device should be useful for you. For that 98.4%. So and you have to come for a checkup after putting the device. Immediately after the following period, you have to come, because sometimes the device can slip down. 6 months you have to come for a checkup, yearly you have to come for a checkup. Okay, and some people feel the safety in you putting the device and using a condom also. That I leave it to you. So you want to have the complete foolproof contraception, you can do that. Hormones, of course, are 100%. The other two are not 100%. So condom
So
only.
what is, sorry, what is the ring then? The
Rings
properties?
are not available. Rings are basically the oral contraceptive that you're taking orally. They're available in the form of a vaginal ring. You place it in the vagina. It will be there for 28 days, and then you remove it after 21 days and reinsert the rings. So they were very nice, very local action, no systemic side effects and things. They're not available now. It's a good thing it's not available now. So I know that what I'm talking to you, you don't have to remember all of it, but remember that after 6 months, I have to take some protection, and I want to avoid a pregnancy altogether till I'm ready for it, till my next pregnancy, I'm ready for it. So that is a very, very important. It is a responsible decision. Both you and your husband have to discuss, and I've given you the different methods available. The detailed discussion will be done when you come and meet us individually. We'll discuss this all over, but I've given you a broad outline, right? And don't go by what others have to say, because copper devices have earned a very bad name of having lots of problems. People say they have bleeding, it goes into the body. So please come and check out with us, and we will cover.
Doctors, are there any side effects of putting that device inside? Any?
No, yeah, that's the only side effects is you may have the body takes some time. Any devices, it takes 3 to 4 months, your periods can be slightly heavier than normal. You can have some intermenstrual spotting, you can have some premenstrual spotting. But once the body has accepted it, then there's absolutely no.
So we don't feel anything inside, like it's completely natural.
Very, very natural. It's a very thin thread that hangs, let's say, the vagina, but you don't even feel it. It doesn't come in the way of your intercourse also, so you don't have to worry about that. So it's a very comfortable. But you should, and these are very personal things. What you are using, you should not discuss. See that once you start discussing, you tell stories of other experiences, and then you start getting scared, and then you feel a lot more symptoms, and then you want to get rid of it. Otherwise, you should have no problems. And there's always an individual body reaction. Most patients accept it. Some patients, they don't accept, the body does not accept it as well. And we can always remove these devices in no time. It's not that I put it once and I can remove it only after 3 years. If it didn't suit your body, it can be removed earlier also. That is only for those women for whom it did not suit at all, not for all. Right? So that is one point I want to tell you, because if it's unwanted pregnancy, terminating the pregnancy, very stressful for you with this child, with the breastfeeding child and the pregnancy. And so it takes very rigid contraceptive measures that you take care. Medicines we have already discussed with you. And then another thing I want to tell you is when you are 4 to 6 months since you delivered your baby, around that time you're going to experience a couple of things. One, you're going to experience a lot of hair loss. Some have already crosses 4 months. It's scary when you see the amount of hair that you lose. It never makes you feel so you're very concerned. Now, what hair am I losing? Okay? You're basically losing that hair. Normally, we have certain hair which we always lose every day, about some amount of hair, which is a natural loss for us. Somehow, during the pregnancy, you don't lose that hair because of the hormonal changes. And when your hormones are changing around 4 to 6 months, that's a time the exclusivity of the breastfeeding is reducing. Then you lose all of it at one go. So basically, what I did not lose on a day-to-day basis, I'm losing all of that. And that because I did not lose it, my hair was looking great. I had nice, thick, luxuriant hair, but now I'm losing all of it one go. So, but that's all. It will stop, and then you start growing your normal hair. So don't have to worry about it. There's nothing you can do to prevent it. There's nothing you can do to stop it, prevent or stop it. It's a course that goes on, right? So that is one thing to experience. Another thing that we'll experience is mothers who have not had a thyroid issue during the pregnancy suddenly can become hypothyroid at that time. That means their levels of thyroid starts dropping. So how do you suspect it? It's something it's dropping. You could suspect it by a sudden weight gain. I have lost a lot of my weight. I'm doing fine. Suddenly I find I'm increasing my weight, number one. And then I find I'm feeling a little, sometimes dry skin. My voice has become a little hoarse. I feel very low in my activity levels. I feel more lethargic. I'm getting constipated, a sudden sense of slowness. If you suspect that is happening around that time, please inform us and we'll advise you to check your thyroid levels. And if you find your thyroid levels are low, then we give you the replacement and that gets corrected. So that's not a problem. Right? So that is things that can happen for 6 months. That's all. And then after 6 months, you're up and now you're already normal by that time. So these are anything to do with the pregnancy. That's what I want to do. It's a continuation. You all came to me with the pregnancy. We went through the antenatal period. We went through delivery. Then immediate after delivery, we have handled, but I've not handled what to expect after that. So that's why I wanted to have this talk with you. And so these are things that you can expect. And all that skin pigmentation that you had, the darkening of your neck skin, the darkening of your abdomen, all that will all be gone. It will be already gone by this time for you. We have not called the mothers. We have not stopped. I think Aarti has called only till August end deliveries, maybe a few September beginning deliveries. We have not called all of them. So most of you, all this pigmentations will be gone. We don't have to worry about it. Right? Anything else? Any other questions?
Doctor, is there any time frame in which we would get our periods? Like it's already 3.5 months for me now, so nothing like that.
Very variable. Very variable. It can be 6 months, 8 months, 10 months, a year, and over a year. It's extremely variable.
So I have two questions. One is the hair fall. How long will it continue on for? Because it's 5 months and it's still falling.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm going to go bald. It's so bad.
Yeah, don't get scared. It'll stop. It'll all get back to normal.
Okay. And secondly, for my elder one, I got my periods almost after like 11 months, and it was really bad because I had excessive bleeding. For 2-3 days, I couldn't get up from the bed. So will the duration be same for this one, or can it change?
My observation has been, I don't want to scare you, the bleeding, the menstruation is more heavy after your second baby. Okay. So I don't want to scare you. Okay. So when your menstruation comes back, it's going to be variable. It's going to be very variable. Because the body is also going to have a few irregular cycles. Then everything will get stabilized. So give the body that time. So, but a mother is delivered a second time, either because her uterus is more bulky, because of the 2 pregnancies, the uterus has become more bulky, and her body is also more out of shape. Several reasons we find the menstruation is heavy after the second baby, and sometimes we even become anemic. So if you find that my menstruation is very, very heavy, and I'm getting exhausted, you must look out for anemia first. That's the only concern. We're not worried about the menstruation. That is by itself. The anemia is the only thing we have to correct. Just check out the anemia. That's all.
Okay.
And does heavy bleeding impact breastfeed at that period of time?
No, it should not. Be exhausting. That's all. It should not have any direct connection. It doesn't mean that once a menstrual function. See, the design of nature is so beautiful. It's a 6 months exclusive. It supported you for the 6 months of exclusive feeding, isn't it? There was no menstruation. Everything was fine. These were not functioning. The body was just allowed to breastfeed your baby. After that, the design was to give up top feeds to the baby. So if the animals was a herbivorous animals and go back to the plants, If the animals are carnivores, they go back to their meat. It's only human being we go back to breast milk, isn't it? So then your body is designed for your next role. Your menstrual function, the ovary starts functioning, your hormone starts coming out. So that's the design for it. But does not mean that once my hormonal level stops, you don't need that much breast milk. My baby's on solids. I don't have to give exclusive breast milk. So it's okay for even the milk to drop a little bit at that time after 6 months. Does not matter. My baby gets only as much as supplementary feeds, that's all. It's not going to be exclusive breastfeeding. So when you're exclusively breastfeeding a baby, the design is to promote that, to support it.
Ma'am, I have one question.
Yeah.
Now it's 1 month past and still my PTS means discharge is there. So is it normal?
Absolutely normal. So since the time you've delivered, the uterus is slowly shrinking. And you may have different kinds of discharges. You know? Initially you had a fresh bleeding, that stopped. Then you have a lochia, which is a kind of brownish discharge. Then you have a slimy discharge, and that stopped. Then you had some fresh bleeding, that stopped.
Yes.
And then there's a little bleeding which is collected in the vagina and comes out as a brownish discharge. So this can go on and on till 6 weeks, till the puerperium is over. End of 6 weeks, when the uterus is already come back normal size, you have a any flow of a proper flow, like 4 to 6 days. That is not menstruation. That's the end of this. Remember that day 4 of menses, when the menses live in a normal menstrual cycle, when most of the cycles seeming to have finished, on the day 4 or day 5, you have the fresh one. Isn't it? The same thing. As though everything has stopped, and suddenly you have a fresh flow for 4 to 5 days. That's not menstruation. And then you don't know when you feel it. This is okay.
Thank you.
Right. Wow, I never expected we'll have so many questions. I'm so happy I'm sorry it got delayed, with the midst of all the other things. Any other question? Good. Enjoyed. I think that's all. Shall we wind up?
Ma'am, I have a question, ma'am.
What is that? None of the fathers seem to be having questions. Yeah. Go ahead.
Ma'am, I've heard of an increasing concept of baby wearing. So instead of using strollers to wear your baby, they say it is better because your baby feels, more secure and the bonding is more, and it is better for the baby's growth also. So I wanted to know if you would recommend that, considering of how much of an impact it has on our bodies and our postures.
Yeah, I think that's also only for initial time. When the baby gets bigger, you won't even want to be in front and walk around with the baby. Or convenience of travel time. I think I leave it to you to decide what you feel comfortable.
So my lactation consultant told me to baby wear and feed, which I just could not I could not figure it out.
Pouch, it's like it's basically how the kangaroos do. It's very earlier days. So when the babies are preemies, so that you have a premature baby in the ICU and all that, they have a pouch. They put the baby
the kangaroo care one.
Kangaroo care. So that's what you do. Now you have your full-term baby in your hand. The baby is grown so big, and you're already taking the baby to the breast. And the baby wearer, what I feel is only the strap to get the baby onto the body, but that's not helping the baby grow or bonding. You're already bonding with the baby when you're breastfeeding. So that is more of a convenience for you to when you're going for a walk. You can go for a walk and carry the baby and walk around.
So I just have a last question.
Yeah, please go ahead.
How safe is it to take the baby out? I took her out like a couple of times in the pram, but I am so paranoid after returning home.
Times, right? I think the babies are the best protected. They are very well protected at such times. So I think in your own area, in your building, around your building, I think you can take your babies for a walk, on a stroller, or you can walk with your baby around.
So Dr. Sonal told me to, when I take her, I should cover the stroller, at least in the elevators.
Yeah.
The stroller should be well covered, and if there's no one around, it's mandatory.
Muslin cloth, a very thin muslin cloth.
Right.
So that is fine. And and you're not going to go to crowded places, right?
No.
So that's fine. So don't take your babies to the mall that you're not going to do anyway, right? So this is good. So you want to cover your stroller with a muslin cloth, or you just take your baby and walk around with the baby. I think you wait for 3 months, so you will not be able to take your baby. At least for, because that's the time you take, not 3 months, 3 weeks definitely you can talk. You're going to be busy with the baby. So give yourself 6 weeks, let the vivarium finish. And the baby be exclusive on the breast. And they already take it, go then take her around and come. That should not be. So by end of 6 weeks, you should be able.
Okay. Okay.
You also need for more for you than the baby. Right? So if you want to go for a walk, I think you first go for the walk and come. Your
But there's so much paranoia after I come back. I change, I take a bath. It's just too much of a trouble. So I'm just sitting in the balcony with her.
Oh my God, I'm tired of. I've now bought myself OT scrubs. I don't know if scrubs and come back. 4 baths a day and 5 baths a day. So I'm doing away with all my tools now. There's no.
Oh, okay.
Once a day. Again,
I can't hear you.
Again, you go to the hospital for an hour. Again, another set of OT scrubs you have to wear. You know? So you can't keep changing set of clothes every day.
Mm-hmm.
That's going on. Good. I think
hopefully it will get better soon.
Nice to see you all smiling, or you're all looking good, right? So just get going. If anything, just write to us. We'll reply to you and give us a feedback of how the sessions are helping you. Right? So we will.
Okay. Yes. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
It has been wonderful.
Thank you, ma'am.
See you again.
It always helps, you know, to see that. I feel really right to our patient. Okay.
They've been wonderful, ma'am. Very, very helpful.
Yeah.
Aarti should be given full credit because she's the one doing all the coordination work for me. Right? And she's always been so supportive, taking your calls, and she asks me what
Absolutely, ma'am.
Right.
It's really helping me a lot. And just, Aarti, let's have this class, it's done. It's tomorrow. So everyone just contacted you all. It's difficult for everyone to come for this session because you must video game. I didn't record the initial part. I wish I'd recorded because anyone who could have accessed these questions are the same for all the mothers. But all mothers are the same doubt. Maybe I'll add those things and discuss.
Thank you.
Hello.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Great connecting
Happy
after
Sunday.
a long time.
That's important. Tell me, you are important. I'm important. Okay, everything that you start, you won't give up. It's not going to be 100%. So what? 3 weeks like 100%. You got it. Keep that in mind.
Okay.
Okay, Bella. Take care.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you, ma'am. Happy Sunday.
Bye
Take care.
bye. You too. Take care.
Thanks a ton.
Thank you, ma'am.
Oh, that was nice to hear. I didn't hear it. Yes, yes. So you were all doing the babysitting while the mothers attended the classes. I can do that.
Yes, ma'am.
The babies were so quiet today. We didn't hear anything. Oh, thanks to all the babies. They behaved so well.
They were also listening to you, ma'am.
Looks like boys. I always believe the babies know me very well. Because with the womb, you know, we have a special connection. When you come with your baby, I'll demonstrate to you. Very special bonding. Look at them. We didn't get no crutches, no crying. Where are the babies? We didn't even know where the babies were. Oh well. I mean, this is amazing. This is where really they help us. Luckily, nobody would believe that this was a post-delivery class. The mothers are lactating. They're taking care of the baby. No chaos, no confusion. Very good. Very nice. And even if you didn't have the babies in your room, you could have heard the baby crying in the next room. I didn't hear that. Good job. Good job. Very peaceful. Your homes are full of love and peace. Okay.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you. Bye.